Hey there YouTube, this is Roland from the BDC Gun Room. For those of you that know me, you're cool. For those of you that don't, well, hopefully you someday will. What we're doing today is reviewing the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield in 9mm. I've been carrying this gun for about 6 months or so, and I just thought you guys should know what I thought about it. It is a great firearm. This has already been press checked for you guys that are super crazy on the safety, which is nothing wrong with that. I am too. It comes with, when you get the gun, you get a pistol, you get 2 magazines. In the 9mm, you get a 7-round capacity magazine that's a flush mount, just like this. And then you get a extended 8-round that sticks out just a hair. Most people are going to like the extended, and they're going to use that. I've had extreme amounts of luck with this gun. I really like it. There's very little to not like about it. One of the things that I suggest you do when you go to try to find this at your local gun shop is to really touch it like this. Just rub all over it like a weirdo. And what I want you to do is notice that the gun has been dehorned. If you don't know what that means, is it's not sharp, essentially. And the 40, it comes in 40 also. It's 1 less round per mag. So in the 8-round you get 7, in the 7-round you get 6. So for those of you that are math impaired. A good size comparison so you guys can kind of see how big it is. There's a dollar bill, so you guys can get kind of an idea of how small it is. It's extraordinarily narrow. That's one of the big appeals to most people in a carry gun, is a narrow gun. Mine, I have done a couple of modifications to it. I mess with the trigger a little bit. That's my business. Don't worry about what I did to it. I work on guns all the time. I'm not a gunsmith, but I do what a lot of what a gunsmith does, and one day I probably will be one. So don't worry about what I did to the trigger. I've replaced the front sight, and I've blacked out the rear. That just works for my eyes. Your mileage may vary. Here's the original sight so you guys can get a picture of what it used to look like. It's just 3 white dots. It's not anything special, but I really like the sights that come on it. They work just as well. I just prefer this. It's a good upgrade. One of the things that you might know about this gun is it's pretty decent firepower for how small it is. 8 rounds plus 1, 9 rounds, so that's pretty respectable for how small and lightweight it is. It is 20.8 ounces naked with the 8-round magazine in it. Naked. Depending on the ammo you choose, it'll weigh different. So that's just what it is. It might be different on Smith & Wesson's website. I don't know. I didn't look. I just used a home scale, and that's what I weighed it as. One of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about is the recall, or actually it's not a recall. It is a factory safety alert, and what they're talking about is the end of the trigger. And you see how that returns like that, and you can see that really small tab at the top, how it protrudes out when you let go of the trigger. What that is a small, I've actually taken these apart, the bad ones that we sent back. It's actually not really that big of a deal. All it does is just make the trigger sit like that. It's not really that big of a deal. But anyway, I did take one of the bad ones apart, and what happened, a couple thousand of these, I would imagine, when they made this bottom part right here, there's an injection molding process, and it didn't get up into that very small cavity at the very top, and there's a long piece of plastic inside there that acts as a spring. So that's what happens when you go to push on that. You're just pushing against a small piece of plastic. That's all it is. I'm not one to carry with the safety on. It has a safety. It's awesome. It works very well. I carried it with the safety on just to test it for about a month, and I wanted to know if it ever actuated accidentally. All the times that I ever stuck it on, and at the end of the day when I took the gun off, it was still on. So that you know, that's not a very scientific test, but it's kind of real world, and it does work very well. It's very positive. It's not unobtrusive or obtrusive, I'm sorry, and it works very well. It's a good pistol. The trigger is probably in the neighborhood of, I'd say 5.5 pounds, maybe a little heavier. Your mileage may vary. I know it'll be different from mine because when I got mine, it was pretty heavy, and I noticed some of the other ones that came into the shop were a lot lighter than mine, and I was a little annoyed, but it's not a big deal. I fixed mine, so it's a lot better than it was. Some of the other guns that you are gonna be shopping for in this price range. Oh, by the way, this is about $450 retail, which is awesome. That's a great price on a high quality firearm like this. Most of the time you're going to pay about $500 to get a high quality firearm. This blows away a lot of the guns that are carry options. One of them being is the Taurus 709 Slim. I think the 709 Slim's great in the size, capacity, and weight category, but it lacks in the trigger, and I think that would affect a lot of people's accuracy. The gun itself is probably very accurate. It's just the trigger in it is not very good, and for me at least, and most people I talk to, and this is a consensus of people that use and operate a lot of firearms. So if you have a 709 Slim, don't throw it away or trade it off just because of this. I said that. If you like it and you can hit with it, keep it. It's a good gun. You know, it works for you. It is cheaper than this, which is not to say cheap as in bad, as in cheaper as in less expensive. So another good option, which is a really great option in my opinion, I think it's one of the best out there, same as this, is the Springfield XDS. I wish I had one here to show you, but it is a little more square than this. This has some serious ergonomics going on with it. It feels great in the hand. When you pick it up, you're like, wow, that's made for a person's hand. It feels good. It's very ergonomical and it feels good. And one of the things that I noticed with the Springfield XDS is it is more expensive. It's about $600 for a carry gun. You know, you might say, oh, that's way too much money. Well, I think it's on par with what you get, because with this, you get the pistol, 2 magazines, and you get this sweet box. Yeah, you get a box. And with the Springfield, you get a case, you get 2 magazines, you get a holster, double mag carrier, loader, brushes, extra inserts for the front sight because it has a fiber optic front sight similar to this one. But I mean, you do get a lot of stuff, which is awesome. And Springfield's kind of known for hooking people up with all kinds of goodies, and people like that. So that's pretty awesome, and I'm glad they do that. But it is more expensive. So if you guys are looking to get into a conceal carry pistol, I think this is one of the greatest options out there, especially for the money. One of the things that I noticed on the gun is if you look at this little hole right here, there's a roll pin, and if you don't keep that oiled and you carry this gun a lot, it's going to rust on you a little bit. It's just going to rust the face. I've actually pulled it out and looked at it. It doesn't rust the whole shaft of the pin. It's not a big deal. It will not hurt the gun at all, but you got to keep that a little bit oiled. But that's the only real complaint I've ever had on the gun. It's just fantastic. It's pretty hard to, you know, sit there and say other things that are good about other guns when this is actually there's a lot of good carry options out there. What else? The PF9 by Keltec is another pretty good carry option if you're on a budget, and that's a pretty good one. The sights, they're kind of plain, they're not the greatest, but they do work. The trigger pull is very long. It is a double action only pistol, and it but it works. It's a good working little pistol, and they do work really well. And if you have any other questions on any of these guns, or any kind of gun questions, throw it to me in the comments, or be civil, please, and we'll get you an answer for that. One thing we pride ourselves on at BDC Gun Room is customer satisfaction. Even if you're not an actual customer and you can't come into the shop physically, you're on the internet, we'll still help you out. If you guys want to contact us, we will put our phone number in the description. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe.